I wasn't able to find any bolt-in stuff to put a 5.3 in an Astro. So what I did was I went on eBay and I got a set of motor mounts to swap a 5.3 into a S10. Now, they don't line up. They got lots of adjustability, which is great, as you can see. But they didn't mount to the frame right or anything. And so my dad made these brackets. They're ugly right now. They're going to get smooth and cleaned and painted. But this is just to make sure they work. And he cut these and welded them all up and made these so that everything just bolts right in now. Which makes things a lot simpler. If anyone has worked on a van, on the engine while it's in the van, then there's you know how tight it is and how difficult it is to get the stuff. So there's a lot of things I'm going to go through on this engine before I put it in the van. The first thing is, one of the things is, I'm going to replace the intake manifold gasket, and I'm going to put new knock sensors in it because they're in the valley. The knock sensors are in the valley. So I'm putting new knock sensors in and replace the intake manifold gaskets. I'm gonna, as you can see, some of the bolts broke off of the exhaust manifold. So I'm gonna replace the bolts. That one's gonna be easy to get out. This one here is not gonna be so easy to get out. But I'm gonna replace those with studs. Got a stud kit coming. I'm going to do valve cover gaskets. I'm going to do rear main seal on it, of course. And trying to think what else. Oh, and I'm going to put a new air conditioner compressor on it, because this one, once it's in the van, I don't know if I'll ever be able to get the compressor out with it being in the van. I don't know. But I'm just going to put a new one in, so I'm starting fresh. And I'll probably put a new water pump on it. While it's in the van, the water pump isn't a big issue, but I'm probably going to put a water pump on it anyway. So intake manifold gaskets, valve cover gaskets, exhaust manifold gaskets with a stud kit. That's what I'm going to do. Of course, the rust on this van is not too bad, but all Astros and Safaris suffer from this issue right here. And that is the front body mount and the radiator core support, which on these vehicles is part of the unibody. So those I've got to cut those out and replace them. But luckily, like I said, I've got a Safari van that is in perfect condition. The body's in excellent shape with no rust. So those are going to get cut out of the Safari, and we're going to weld those in and replace that part. And I'm going to use the air conditioner air conditioner condenser and the radiator out of the Suburban in the Astro. And I think we've measured and everything, and from what it looks like, I think I'll be able to use the factory mechanical fan from the Suburban. But I'm going to have to trim this metal out right here. I'm going to trim it right around this opening and open this hole up so the bigger radiator can fit. My goal is to use everything out of the Suburban and just transplant it over into the Astro, which the air box on the Suburban sits right here. And anyone with an Astro knows that air conditioning all sits way out here. There's a big box. I took all that out so my air box will fit, and I'm going to do something different with the air conditioner. I won't have a dash AC anymore. The air conditioner will be mounted in the top in the back and just blow forward. I'll put a heater core in and a fan for defrost for the windshield, but for heat I'm going to be using a diesel heater. Well, just a cheap Chinese diesel heater. I've used it in my Trooper and it's excellent. It's a 8, there it is. It's a 8 kW diesel heater, and it works spectacularly. So that's going to provide heat. And then the air conditioner, this top is going away. I've got a high top from a 70s G20 camper van, which it's a little bit wider than this van and a little bit longer, but it's one I can stand up in and actually put a bed above the driver compartment here. The bed's going to go up there so that all of the bottom area will be living space. There's going to be, over here will be a couch that folds out into a bed, a short one that folds out into like a twin size bed. And over here will be the kitchen. And then over here will be the bathroom. And yes, it's going to have a full bathroom. It'll have a bathroom. I'll be using a composting toilet, and it's going to have a shower. And I have a propane water heater that I'm going to mount on the back door. It's one of those tankless camping water heaters, and I've used one in my house, and it works so good that I have another one, and I'm going to mount it in here for hot water. The gas tank is out. I had the fuel pump went out in it, so I pulled the gas tank to replace the fuel pump, and I knew I was going to be doing the LS swap, so I put a fuel pump in that is capable of supplying the fuel that the LS needs. One thing I've always hated about this van is the Dutch doors. I despise them. So they're going away. That aluminum plate is where I cut a hole in the back door, and I had an air conditioner. I had a 5,000 BTU window unit in that back door, and but it's out and plugged up. So I'm getting rid of these, and I have a Safari cargo van that has the barn doors on the back, and I'm going to be replacing all of this with just simple barn doors on the back. So those are going away. This is where it gets tricky. I got to put a clutch in here. I know this wiring looks like a mess. I had to cut the wiring to get the dash out. I'll show you the dash in a minute. The dash was a mess, and I've got to do some work on it. So I just pulled the whole dash out, plus it gives me more access to the pedals. But I got to put a clutch in here, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to go about doing that. There's not a whole lot of room. I know Astros came with a manual transmission up until about 89 or 90. You could get them with a manual transmission, but this one is a 95, and there was nothing left on. There's no provisions, nothing for doing a clutch in here. But I'm going to figure that out, and we're going to get either, I've heard S10 pedals work. I've heard, well, that's about it, S10 pedals. So I don't know what we're going to do about that just yet. We'll figure it out. But it's got to have a clutch, because right now I just got a brake and a gas, and a manual transmission needs a clutch. But what makes it so tight is the clutch is going to go right in here. The master cylinder has to go right in there somewhere, and that's where the steering wheel goes through. The steering column goes through right there. So that's going to take some doing, but I'm sure we'll get that figured out. And last but not least, let's talk about this dash. This dash is awful. I mean, the front of it's not too bad. It's faded, but it's not too bad. But you get up to the top, and you can see it's really bad. I have a plan. I have an idea for the dash, and that's going to be its own. That's going to be its own separate video, and I'll probably do that next. The next video I upload will probably be me fixing this dash. I have some good ideas. Well, I think they're good ideas. I have some ideas for this dash that's going to be different. Some of it will be stuff you've seen before, but I have an idea for something that I guarantee you've never seen before, and if it works, it's going to be spectacular. But I got to do something with this dash.